You watch my videos and don't subscribe. I feel very sad when this happens. People who understand Chinese/Japanese, what's the dumbest thing you've seen tattooed on someone? Took Mandarin in high school. My teacher told us about a woman who had a tattoo of the word. Probably thinking it meant free as in free spirited, but it actually means free as in no cost. Greatest versus Liber. While stationed in Japan, a friend got a tattoo by some random guy outside of base. He wanted some Shinto quote for a prosperous life, but instead got the kanji reading something like fat fish eat long. The Japanese workers just called him fat fish for the next 3 years. It caught on live fire. Even random people from other commands knew his nickname. I like the idea that this random guy just waits outside military bases to give Americans tattoos of random phrases telling them it's something cool. Guy had on his arm, said it meant lover of Asian beauty when in fact it means foreign pervert. Hahaha. They stuck with the theme and everything. Love it. He got it from an actual Japanese tattoo artist in Japan, where he was studying some martial art he fetishized as bad as the women he wanted a tattoo about. Loved to tell the story until he ran into me. Sad. I met a girl when I was backpacking in China who knowingly had the characters for prostitute tattooed on her hip. She thought it was funny, and the only people who saw it would be ones she chose to show it to. The Chinese guy who was drinking with us in the hostel was horrified and suggested that she get another tattoo underneath which said only joking. And a third one. Or am I? The 4-element tattoo with dirt, hot, blow, wet was pretty funny. Long ago, the 4 nations lived together in harmony, then everything changed when the hot nation attacked. I speak Mandarin, and it works both ways. Here's one in reverse. On the beach in Taiwan I saw a huge, and I mean huge, ripped Taiwanese guy walking on the beach in Hualien with his girlfriend. On his back in black Gothic letters, flanked by swords, was the phrase, "Slut Jude." Told him it was an interesting choice in tattoo. Store behind it. Turned out he thought he was getting a tattoo that said swordsman. When he found out what it actually said, well, wouldn't want to be that artist. Yes. My math teacher in high school was confronted with a Japanese gang, all with matching leather jackets. The jackets had an English phrase, clearly meant as bad as motherfuckers. It read, "Savage Fellows." Savage Fellows has an elegant ring to it. Colleague of mine wanted his name, Nick, tattooed on his arm in Chinese characters. Spoiler, shit don't work that way. To the credit of the artist, the stuff on his arm is pronounced Neeg. It translates to none. What's up my Neeg? Not my story, but a friend of mine. She could read kanji, and was in class one day noticing this girl's tattoo for the first time. Confused, she inquired about it. "What does your tattoo say?" "Hi princess." Turns out it actually said "Pig princess." I would be disturbed, even if it said "Hi princess." The amount of ego necessary to get that permanently stamped on your skin. Dude was so proud of his grandson that he had a tattoo that said, "I love my grandson." Except I'm guessing everyone just googled "I love my grandson" because it came out reading "I love fat boys." Whoops. I don't know if this was stupid or brilliant, but someone had. Which is respectfully asking if they had soup dumplings. I thought it was really stupid until someone said that they must really like soup dumplings. The idea of ordering food in a foreign country by showing a tattoo like this is so chaotic. I love it. Seen a few over the years, but one that I remember most was when I first started learning Mandarin. The guy had a tattoo on the back of his leg that proudly said, which means beef. Oh, he was going for calf. That one might be an honest mistake. A lot of women have written on them. For some reason they think having the word woman written in Japanese adds some sort of mystical feminine power to it, when in reality people most often associate it with a bathroom door. Imagine seeing Japanese women walking around with woman tattooed on themselves. On top of that, the kanji is often written rather sloppily, like something a 5-year-old would write, rather than elegant script. Imagine a nation going like, "Yes, I got the universal symbol of femininity and womanhood tattooed on me," and then it's the toilet door figure in a dress. Saw a pretty tatted up guy one day with some Chinese markings on his forearm. Asked him what they meant, and he said just a bunch of random Chinese letters. To which I inquired, which ones, and he corrected me, saying no, it says, just a bunch of random Chinese letters. Thought it was pretty slick. Edit. Obligatory. This is my first ever silver. Thank you, kind stranger. As a side note, after I talked to this dude I got the idea to get a tattoo in Japanese that says this is not Chinese. I think his was better, but both are funny in their own way. I, 27F, don't understand Chinese/Japanese, had the characters for strawberry on my shoulder. Was it a gym changing? And gal one who could read the language says oh. Strawberry. I love your tattoo. I explained why I had gotten the tattoo, long story involving strawberries, and gal 2 overheard our conversation. Gal 2 says I have a tattoo that means wisdom and shows us. Gal 1 says that says turtle. Edit. Here is the story behind the tattoo. My grandmother passed away of bone and lung cancer in 2010. I bought frozen strawberries a few weeks later to make smoothies in the morning, and the smell of those frozen strawberries transported me back to my childhood when I would eat frozen strawberries from her freezer. She used to pick so many and make jam etc, but I would pick strawberries to snack on instead of ice cream. After she had passed, I decided to get a tattoo and was thinking of a strawberry with ice crystals around it or something. I went for American Chinese food with friends and was telling them about my tattoo idea. When it came time to break our cookies and read our fortunes, mine read to remember is to understand, which I thought was cool. Had been remembering and thinking of my grandmother over the last month or so since she had passed. When I turned over the fortune, the Chinese word was strawberry. I've never seen 6 people turn white so quickly. I decided to get the Chinese symbols for strawberry that day, and I still have the fortune in a special box at home. Edit 2. Holy silver Batman. My first silver multiplied into 3. Golly gee willikers. Thank you. Edit 3. And my first gold. Thank you, kind stranger. Edit 4. They've multiplied. If only my gram knew that the tattoo I got in her honor would someday lead to random internet points. I bet she is proud. Once when I was in university, working at a shop, a very fat lady came in with a kanji for large tattooed on her shoulder blade. I politely complimented her tattoo and asked what it meant. She said it meant sassy. I almost can't believe there would be a Japanese equivalent of sassy. I have the characters for shrimp dumpling, ha gal, tattooed on me. I knowingly did this because I'm half Chinese and fking love shrimp dumplings. I had a Chinese girl ask me if I knew what it meant, and I laughed and said of course, I love dumplings. My Chinese mother was not impressed, but then laughed and said it was very me. The second mistake I see apart from bad translation is that they use computer font for tattoos instead of calligraphic styles. Basically, it's the equivalent of getting an English tattoo in Times New Roman. Even if the character is correct, it looks like reading a bland text document. If you really insist on getting Japanese/Chinese tattoos, make sure the artist is also familiar with the language and calligraphic styles, along with getting the translation correct. Also, translations do not exactly work one-on-one. A phrase that sounds cool in English might sound extremely silly or childish if directly translated. Researching Japanese/Chinese phrases is a better method and avoids the bad translation issue. Finally, it helps understanding some cultural context surrounding tattoos. In Japan, tattoos are almost entirely associated with the Yakuza. So don't be surprised if your tattoos aren't a hit with Japanese people, even if you had everything correct. Get one that says, "This is not a Yakuza tattoo." I saw someone with the characters for Big and Father and figured it was like an approximation of Big Daddy. The guy got really agitated with me and told me it was Chinese for eternal wealth. Okay, a really poor translation would be which sounds similar to Encanto and arguably Mando, which could mean to bring wealth, but yeah, it's really far-fetched. Japanese speaker here. Guy had one that read. Someone told him that tan means pig and katsu means to win. He thought that putting them together means to win against pigs, police. Tonkatsu means pork cutlet. I didn't have the heart to tell him. It always cracks me up to see people with single characters tattooed on themselves, especially characters for the natural element. I imagine the same tattoo, except it says dirt in plain English, and it makes me laugh. Not Chinese Japanese, but I knew a guy who had a Ganesh tattoo, and told me very robustly that is, with the god of war. I attempted to let him down gently. Ganesh. God of war lol. Really weird the pornster has. Inked on her back. It means when life gives you lemon, make lemonade, but it's not a saying in Chinese, so it sounds dumb tbh. There's also grammatical error, so it makes it even funnier, but apparently she did it as a joke. IDK. The syntax is way off tool mayo. Life brings to you, when lemon make lemon water. Thank you very much for watching. In the comments under the video, write what you think about all this. And also do not forget to watch our other videos. Bye.